Ghanaian men have been recognized worldwide as the most gentle, family-oriented, and romantic men in Africa.
Welcome back. In our first story, the government of Ghana has announced the immediate closure of its embassy in Tehran as tensions between Iran and Israel escalate.
The way Ghanaians react when they see Nigerians steal strikes me that Ghanaians are so innocent.
Just in, breaking news in the motherland, guys. It is no longer news that Minister of Foreign Affairs from the motherland Ghana and the government of Ghana, in the person of His Excellency Johndramanimahama and his team, have officially shut down all Ghana embassies cut across Israel and Iran. Reasons for this shutdown will be made known in this video in in-depth exposition and analysis. I would need you to kindly pay attention to details of why the Ghanaian government has shut down its embassy cut across Israel and Iran. And currently, what is going on in Israel and Iran will leave you speechless. And the safety of Ghanaians cut across Israel and in Iran will be well disclosed to each and every one of us to definitely have in our minds, so that we can as well put them in our prayers, because it is no longer news what it has been going on for quite some time now in the country Israel and Iran, and the position of the government of Ghana towards what is happening and protecting the life of its citizens cut across this country. I'm going to let this video play, as well as every other reactors that I'm going to feature here. Please, I need you at this point to hit on the like button to encourage this video go out there, because this is a very crucial and important notice, right? And as well, share this video and stay subscribed if this is your first time here. Please, if you have any relative, child, family member in any of this country, this is the best time for you to reach out to them. Exactly, because for the government of Ghana to shut down its embassy cut across this country shows that it is no longer a joke. Personally, I will have them in my prayers and keep an eye on how they will be successfully brought back home. Exactly. And with that being said, having done all said, let us delve into these videos and I'll be right back.
Guarantee so we are for open some ahudo ATR. Not only when you action because the latest, the happenings, the shocks, the happy ones, and all that was for Linina guarantee so and I was Ebeka 8 personal young wasted time BBR was for Dimechi Nanya a war on young Guti and Bra.
Welcome back. In our first story, the government of Ghana has announced the immediate closure of its embassy in Tehran as tensions between Iran and Israel escalate. This decision was made in the interest of safeguarding Ghanaian lives, according to the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto Blakwa, who disclosed the development in a post on social media today. That's 16th of June. And joining me right now is my colleague, head of the Foreign Affairs Desk, Blessed Suga, giving us details of that update on X. Blessed, what more has the minister been posting about?
Well, Mami, as you can just see, a very surprising announcement that many were not on the lookout actually going into the day. But it has been confirmed now from the minister that Ghana has taken the decision to close down consulate or any diplomatic missions we may have in Tehran. If you're quite conversant with what's been happening, of course, in the Middle East now, it's been raining missiles, obviously because of the escalation between Israel and Iran, a reason for which the minister might be taking this decision. But what's surprising to many and those who are watching the developments closely is that the minister appears to be a bit more silent on what might be happening entirely within Israel itself. Now, if you're doing a comparative analysis of what's happening clearly in terms of the numbers, the figures, and likely the number of Ghanaians that we may have in Israel will be quite a substantial number. So many are just surprised as to why the minister is much more heavier on giving out information on what might happen to persons within Tehran. But obviously, it might also be driven by intelligence, the fact that if you're looking at the military capabilities of these two countries, then, of course, if you're making that analysis, you can then draw that conclusion that indeed Israel has quite an upper hand in terms of the military capability. So the casualties may be bigger in Tehran as compared to Israel. Possibly a reason why we're seeing what we're seeing from the minister. We've made attempts to reach out to him this morning, at least to get some, updates on possibly what the next steps might be. No confirmation yet from the ministry as to what the next steps will be. But as we're taking it from him now, in terms of the statement from the minister, it is clear that all Ghanaians will be moving out of Tehran and they would not be using air travel. Clearly, that's what we're getting from that statement. Because the indication from the minister is that the attempt is to use our land borders. And so if that's what we're going to be using, possibly, closer countries might be our next target, such as maybe Iraq and the others, Pakistan, and some of the areas that we may have assets in, or perhaps, close allies in, that we may want to move all of our interests and persons who are domiciled in Tehran right now out of, Iran. So that's the approach that the minister is giving us a sense of. But for those who are not necessarily aware of what's been happening over the last few days, there is a clear indication that there's an escalation of tension between Israel and Tehran. Obviously, based on what we're hearing, Israel says Tehran's decision to build a nuclear ammunition or capacity is a direct threat to their national security, a reason for which, of course, has been strikes and counter-strikes from both parties. In the last few days as well, Israel has attempted to use the diplomatic forum to try and get the International Atomic Agency to try and, push more sanctions and to condemn the activities of Tehran. They've not been too successful at that, owing to the division at the Security Council level. But what we do also know is that even in Ghana, our relations with our, counterparts, the Israelis, appear to have been witnessing some setbacks, because publicly we're getting to see for the very first time, a diplomat, the U.S. ambassador, expressing his disappointment with Ghana for taking a different position when it matters most, or when it mattered most to Israel. So that's, quite about the first time in a very long while that we're seeing this outburst about how Israel wants to gather more of its allies across the world and to send that message to Tehran that they need to de-escalate now in terms of their, atomic capabilities.
Right.
But we still are waiting to see what it is that the minister will say beyond the statement that we're getting online.
Thank you so much, Blessed, for that update. Well, let's discuss this further. And joining me is International Relations Analyst Nanaya Miriku on Zoom. We're grateful for your time on our desk. Well, Nanaya, this is what is coming up from the Foreign Affairs Ministry just this morning. What do you make of the recent developments in Iran, in Israel?
Good morning to you, and good morning to your viewers. It's rather unfortunate that events are taking the turns that they are taking. And I think that it's in the interest of all other nations, who have their embassies in Tehran and even in Israel, to start thinking of how they're going to protect and safeguard, their citizens in these respective countries. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's a step in the right direction that if you have Ghana's foreign ministry deciding to close the embassy down in Tehran, and then look at how to get in touch with its citizens and probably get them to other safe states or probably bring them back to Ghana. Mm-hmm. I think it's a step in the right direction, because it doesn't look like what is happening between Israel and Iran is going to end anytime soon. That was the calculation of Israel and probably US, that attacking Iran was one of the ways of getting them to the negotiating table. They were set to meet this very Sunday in Oman. Mm-hmm. And I think in the calculation, the calculus of US and Israel, by stepping up this kind of escalation, they're going to force Iran on Lebanese and bring them to the negotiating table. But it looks as if it's a blowback. And the escalation is going to take days, weeks, even not months. So it's only right that we start doing what you have to do before the situation gets to the matter of deterioration. So I think it's a step in the right direction. It's a timely intervention, and I think that, like I said, it's a step in the right direction.
But what's also interesting is the mode of transport of evacuation of Ghanaian citizens in Israel, going by land borders instead of by air. What do you make of that?
Well, I think it just speaks to how difficult it is to navigate those areas, and the insecurity, right, in that mm-hmm. area, and how the skies are even becoming volatile, right. Because what is happening, Israel's airspace is probably one of the most volatile right now as we speak. The closest protection Israel is enjoying right now is Jordan. What Jordan is doing is that Jordan is closing up its airspace, so Iran is unable to penetrate it with missiles. But the point is that these areas are very, very volatile. Missiles are flying in left and right, missiles and drones, and so it's only right that you try to find a very safe and secure avenue, transport systems, to get your citizens out than to try to use the airspace. Mm-hmm. So I think this is it's a security move. Right. It's a security guided, activity that the government wants to take. I think it's in the interest of our people that we use the transport systems through the roads than to use the skies. As I said, it's a very insecure moment. and any attempt to use the airspace would have, catastrophic, effects.
Well, how does this move signal the realignment of Ghana's diplomatic relations in the Middle East, especially with regard to Israel? I mean, recently they've made some pronouncement on Ghana's posture or stance with regard to their relations with Iran. What do you make of what's happened recently, just opposing that to the relations we have with Israel?
Well, I think that by and large, we need to understand the geopolitics of the day. That, I mean, it's just like the Ukraine, the Russo-Ukraine war. Somebody would think that it's a war between Russia and Ukraine, but ultimately, if you look at the bigger picture, there are experts that are saying that it's a war between the United States and Russia. If you look at what is happening right now between U.S. and Iran, you would understand that ultimately, right, Donald Trump's administration is making every effort to dissociate itself from the direct attack. But all indications point to the fact that the actions were okayed or were sanctioned or were given the confirmation or affirmation by President Donald Trump. And so what it means is that any country that does not support Israel, is likely to receive a backlash from the United States. And so if you see this back and forth between the U.S. Government and Ghana, and it's Ghana's position on some of these interests, or some of these issues, very happy. And then more so between Israel and Ghana. But the idea is that if Ghana takes a different position, Ghana is a sovereign state, right? Like you said, during the Cold War, and Nkrumah said, we neither look to the east or to the west, we look forward. So we are trying to disentangle ourselves, but be guided by our national interest and what's inured to the benefit of the country. And so if the foreign minister weighs the options and he thinks that we need to take a different position, this is Ghana's national interest. We only have to play it in such a way that we are not seen as being biased in a certain instance, but that does not also mean that we cannot take our own position. Right. We are sovereign state. What is for our benefit is what we do as a country. But like I'm saying, we either look not to the east or to the west, but we are doing things that inures to the interest of our national interest.
So right, I mean on that, to expatiate more, how then do we coordinate foreign policy? Because does it mean we sever ties directly with Israel, outright, or what?
No, I don't think you have to sever ties with Israel outright because you have taken an entrenched position. That conflicts with the interest of Israel. I think that there are a number of levels that we can cooperate, and everything boils down to dialogue. Israel would want to garner as many allies that it can, because this is also a diplomatic war. It's a diplomatic war between the two countries, and Iran is by and large isolated to a very large extent because Hamas is not in its very strong position, Hezbollah, and then the Houthis in Yemen. So the idea is that Israel would be very happy, right, to isolate Iran within the diplomatic community. So that Iran is, a standalone state. Right. And so countries that are gravitating towards, Iran are automatically not going to be in the good books of Israel because what it means is that Iran will have some attention of a sort, some sympathy of a sort. Right. But back to your question, I don't think that CDS, that means that we have to sever relations with Israel because there are a number of diplomatic relations or diplomatic endeavor that Ghana also has with Israel. Everything boils down to dialogue. How do we explain? How do we make it known that we cooperate with you on these other levels? But as far as this issue is concerned, this is our position. It doesn't mean that we are securing ties with Israel or with the United States.
All right, and now we're grateful.
It's a very interesting.
It is.
You don't want to be seen. The moment you talk to one side of the coin, you'll be seen as being biased and having a soft spot. If you do the same.
So do you support Ghana's position of abstaining from voting in support of Israel?
Look. Let me tell you this. Do you know one of the reasons why in the latter days of the Obama administration, the U.S. government fell out with the U.S. I mean, the U.S. government fell out with President Netanyahu. Because for the first time in a very long time, the United States abstained. And we know that there are some scholars who are saying that Israel is not important. It's not just important in U.S. foreign policy. Israel is U.S. foreign policy. There is what you call the Israel lobby, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. We call it the Israel lobby. They pull strings. If you want to become a president in U.S., if you want to have a successful presidency, and you don't control to the demands of this Israel lobby, you're not going to have a very interesting, tenure. All
right.
But Obama was aware of this, and he stayed away and let resolution that was against the interest of Israel, to be put forward. So if US has done it, it's not any different for Ghana to also abstain from these things. It's our national interest. We think this is what inures to our benefits. And I think that Ghana is right to have done, what it did. There's no point in entangling ourselves in this geopolitics and having the direct consequences. Staying away is one of the safest things that you can do, as a state. That's my opinion.
Thank you so much for your time here on Newsdesk. We're grateful for your time. Nana Yamiriku is an international relations analyst, telling us, giving us more insight into Ghana's relationship with Israel and the happenings in Israel and Iran war. Well, we'll get more updates on this as and when, and we'll come back to it later on. But
the way Ghanaians react when they see Nigerians steal strikes me that Ghanaians are so innocent. Ghanaians are so innocent. I'm telling you the truth. Let me shock you people. I've had a number of Nigerians come to give me the impression, yes, Ghanaians actually stole from me. Ghanaians actually stole from me. Yes, I've had a business with a Ghanaian online and that Ghanaian stole from me. The truth is, be very careful. The person posing to be a Ghanaian and stealing from you is actually not a Ghanaian. He is Nigerian. Yes, he is Nigerian. We already know what Nigerians do around the world. We already know what they do even in Ghana, even in Nigeria. Nigerians are the only people that can steal from you and give you the impression that they are Ghanaians. Meanwhile, they are actual Nigerians. I'm telling you, stealing, you see, the way Ghanaians react when they hear Nigerians steal would prove to you that stealing is not in these people's blood. It is not in their blood. Let me tell you something. A person that is not money conscious does not take stealing seriously. The person doesn't steal. He doesn't have that innate or reflex. You understand? That's natural reflex or that reflex of stealing. He's not a kleptomaniac, because the truth is that he's not materialistic. He's not. I'm telling you the truth. He's not materialistic. The truth is, for you to understand that Ghanaians are the only set of people that will tell you, listen, by 6 my shop closes, and then by 5:30 or 5 he's already packing up, and no matter what happens, he is still packing up. No matter the level of money, the amount of money you present to him that you want to patronize him or something, those things don't move them. Sets of people that are taxi driver, they render you transportation services, but if they don't know a place, they will tell you, I'm sorry, I do not know this place. And no matter the money you present to them, it will not change their mind. Unlike Nigerians that will tell you, you know what, because of your money, they will tell you, let us find the place. Unlike Nigerians that will tell you, because of the money, they will tell you, oh, I'm not packing, no, I'm not. Now it tells you, between a person that wants to pack and suddenly sees money and changes or compromises, and the person that is not quavered by your money to patronize him, who do you think is a lot more disciplined? Who do you think is a lot more disciplined? Think about it. He's a Ghanaian. Ghanaians are very disciplined. Very, very, very disciplined.
And romantic men in Africa. Ghanaian men have been recognized worldwide as the most gentle, family-oriented, and romantic men in Africa.
Totally right, man. You said who I got right here, man. Shake it to the max and all that. You know what I mean? We taking it bigger than TikTok. We trying to listen, all charts, all formats. You know I got with me. What's going on, baby? You look beautiful. Got the gold. Just have to get the black. I'm popping out like this.
Yeah. You know, I'm from Ghana. We're the Gold Coast, so I had to show out.
Oh, I love Ghana. I've been to Ghana one time. I got to get back. I got to run up a time. Who are you excited to see tonight? We got a lot of performers. Mariah Carey getting honored, Snoop Dogg getting honored, but who are you excited to see?
Well, me. I'm performing for the first time on the red carpet, so I can't wait for that.
I love that. You see what she said? Me. She coming to my home and see nobody else but myself. I love that. I love that. Look, I know you got a lot of things to do. I'm going to go ahead and let you get down that carpet because it's about to start getting a little hectic. All right, great to meet you too. All right? Come on now. Don't tell who else I'm going to bring up here, man.
This is me coming out to say, you know, deeply, in Nigeria, there are no men. Nigerians have no men. And I'll prove this. If you want to find men, go to South Africa. If you want to find real men, I'm not even talking about real men. If you want to find men, go to South Africa, go to Ghana, go to Kenya. There are no men in Nigeria. That's why I call Nigerians the children of Africa. They are not the giant of Africa. They are the children of Africa. They are the infants. They are the spoiled brat of Africa. And I'll prove it. What I'm going to tell you right now, relate it to the time when you were young and spoiled, probably, or an infant. Because these are the things I can relate to myself. Do you remember those days? Whenever we're doing something, we're trying to see whether we can run past the other person. Right? You know, those things are childish stuffs. You're driving something, you're running, and you want to run past the other person until you start growing and there was no running. Right? Come to Nigeria and see drivers of public and private vehicles acting like children. Number 2, you remember those days our fathers would buy us things and then we want to come and show it off to our friends. Hey, my father bought this for me. In fact, I recall when I was in secondary school, part of our childish nature is there were these 2 people. I think their parents were the wealthiest. So one was competing with the other one, trying to say that his watch is actually more original than the other person's watch, trying to show off unnecessarily. Those childish things. Now, Do you see those things in Nigeria or not? We still see those things in Nigeria. Nigeria, you see, irrelevant competition is what makes you a child. And it is all to our being immature that had made us become so weak that we can't even take custody of our own society. And a few set of men are manipulating us, victimizing us. Yet we come out and say we're strong as Nigerians. Or do I talk about the way we relate with our ladies? That is how immature. There are no men in Nigeria. That's why our ladies mess up. Nigerian men on a 99% scale are simps. You need to see how they beg. You need to see their buffoonery. The way they beg ladies, it's disheartening. There are no men in Nigeria. I see it. There are none. The real men. You know, my mother used to tell me something. She would always say that one of the ways you can truly know someone that is not mentally healthy is that the person tends to do things upside down. You know, in situations where he should do something, he doesn't do that thing. And in situations where he's not supposed to do something, that is where he begins to do that thing. Now, what you're seeing are Nigerians protesting, demonstrating on account that their parents and their relatives in the villages are being unalived by unknown gunmen. This is happening in Benue State, Nigeria. And it got me really thinking. These are people demonstrating and protesting. You know, demonstrations and protests towards your leaders are the proper ways, you know, to express your anguish. You know, these are proper ways. These are due ways to express your anguish. You don't take laws into your own hands. Do you understand? Let us just, you know, think of it that way. You know, so Nigerians right now are trying to follow due process. I'm pretty sure a great number of people from other African countries know where I'm gearing towards, you know. It baffles effing sense that Nigerians who are known never to follow policies never to follow policies, never to follow due processes in other countries of this world, come to Nigeria, and when such situations are done on them, when such situation inflicts them, they begin to act like they follow due processes. Oh my goodness, like I don't understand this country I found myself in. Seriously, like, look at how this thing plays out. Nigerians are clearly known to be people that never follow lines. They don't follow due processes. They don't. Whatsoever. In making money, they don't follow due processes. In civil service, they don't follow due processes. In politics, they don't follow due processes. In marriages, they don't follow due processes. In religion, they don't follow due processes. In education, they don't follow due processes. Nothing. Nigerians are known never to follow due processes. They always follow, you know, fraudulent processes and, you know, what they call shrewded, what they call smartness, smart processes, smart ways. Meanwhile, these things are shrewded ways, cunning ways. But now, in such situation where Nigerians should take laws into their own hands and protect themselves, as this thing calls for emergency, immediate attention, they want to follow due process, and they are calling out the president of Nigeria and the governor of Benue State. What is happening? What is happening, guys?
Welcome back, guys, and I believe at this point we have had a very in-depth analysis and exposition the reasons behind why the government of Ghana has officially shut down its embassy cut across this country. It is not a joke, guys. A lot is happening in the world today, and I am very happy that from what we have heard, there are headways and plans put in check to bring back all our Ghanaian citizens back to the motherland successfully and safely. That is our major interest and concern. And please, for anyone who is migrating to any country, it doesn't matter whom you are, the citizen of any country, make sure that the safety of that place and the peace of that place is rest assured. Not all countries like Ghana. Not all country can be Ghana. So make your findings and be very sure before you leave. A lot is happening, just like we have heard and seen. And guys, for my brother Chimli's exposition, analysis about Ghana and Ghanaians, what are your thoughts, your opinion, as well as every other video based on foreigners' experience, reactions, and yes, so officially you have heard that Ghanaian men are the most calm, humble, and complete. You heard what they said exactly. So Ghana is making waves and Ghana is doing things. We will not stop this movement until we achieve our aim, our goal, and our objective, which is making sure that the good news of Ghana reach the ends of the earth. Yes, every look and cranny of the earth. Exactly. The world must know that there is a country called Ghana, not for the wrong reasons and for the right reasons. Coming from your one and only, the ambassador of the motherland, doing what she knows how to do best. At this juncture, have you liked this video? Have you subscribed? Have you shared? And you do all those good stuff, man. You said I should not be talking too much. Now tell me what you think in the comment section. It's over to you. Take the mic and tell me exactly. And at this point, I will say thank you for watching and staying through. Thank you for all your constant love and your support. Thank you for all you do. I don't take them for granted. May the good Lord bless you richly and abundantly. Exactly. And this brings us to the end for what we have here today. Keeping it real, happy, safe, and blessed. Until I will see you in my next one. Ciao, ciao. Mwah.